I can't think of a better place to be, especially how they prepare us for our futures.
It's important to be part of a union because you have to have a voice.
Welcome to Union Talk. I'm Randi Weingarten.
Welcome to another episode of Union Talk. I'm Randi Weingarten, and before I say anything else, I just really want to wish people, we're closing in on the holidays, and these are all this month. They are holidays of light, whether it's Christmas or Diwali or Hanukkah. They're all holidays of light, and so I just want to wish people light for this season and a season of being with friends and family. And I'm just grateful for all of you, and I'm grateful for our members, and I'm grateful for the people that I'm about to speak to and with, because there's something really transformational happening in this rural corner of Southeast Ohio. Some people call it a small rural corner of Southeast Ohio. I see it as really big and brilliant. And so at a time when there are so many headlines focusing on, why are students disconnected? Why was there a drop in test scores? Why are so many people opting for other types of things? Why do we not have communities that are cohesive? Why are we not working on affordability? When you have all of these kind of churning up negative over and over and over again, New Lexington, Ohio is telling a really different story. Their education approach in the school district is driving student engagement. It's providing students real agency and ownership over their futures. It is ensuring student well-being, and it's breathing new life into this rural community deep in Appalachia. And before you think that I'm telling a Christmas story, all you need to do is really talk to the people who I'm about to talk with in terms of New Lex. I have seen this firsthand in my trips to New Lexington, and it starts with young people seeing early hands-on learning, career exploration, real-world skills that prepare them for life. And they proudly showcase these skills from the school farm, where students manage crops and livestock, to phlebotomy labs, to an industrial kitchen, to watching kids in an IBEW apprenticeship program, to seeing the drones and seeing kids putting computers back together again. This is really, when you see and listen to the people we're about to talk to from New Lex, what they're offering is a blueprint for the kind of schools that parents want their kids to attend, students want to attend, and educators want to work at. Relevant and engaging public schools that meet the needs not only of our local communities, but are safe and welcoming and meet the needs of students and families. And so I just really wanted to have, in this last episode before the new year, hearing directly from educators and students about how this kind of education, many times we call it career and technical education, but this kind of education, community partnerships, a deep belief in relationships, how it's really transformational. So I am joined today by Superintendent Dr. Casey Coffey, the Federal Programming and Grants Administrator, Aaron Schumacher, New Lexington's Workforce Administrator, Morgan Holman, and parent, teacher, student combo, Sam Roop, who's a senior attending New Lexington schools, and his dad, David Roop, who is the treasurer of the district. We were going to be joined by our chapter leader, who just at the last minute couldn't be here, but it's so great to see all of you, and welcome. And I'm going to dive right in, if that's okay. So Casey, I'm going to do everybody will not be Mr. and Ms. today. We'll just do everybody's first names if that's okay today.
Mm.
Is that okay, Sam? You can deal with it. You'll probably call them by their Mr. and Mrs., but Casey, I'm going to start with you. I often say, and you've heard me say it, when it comes to schooling, we need to focus on making them safe and welcoming and curriculum relevant and engaging for all students. But you've been able to do all four of these things big time. And I have witnessed each time that I'm at New Lex, there's even more and more layers of all of this. So will you talk about the how and why? Because the story of New Lex and what has been accomplished in the last 5 years is pretty important for people to hear.
Sure. Well, the first thing is you have to understand what your community needs are and where we are. I mean, demographically, it's a tough place. Life is hard. Our poverty rate is very high. We've went through times that have been tough in regards to opioid epidemics and unemployment. And so we've decided that we have to tackle this and try to change things. We have to be the change agents. So we've focused on our entire school population, pre-K through 12. We have things that are programmatically from within the spectrum of pre-K through 12 from the bottom to the top. And so we try to focus on the whole child. We try to focus on everything that is relevant in regards to keeping our kids here. I think that one of the big things with New Lexington is that our kids want to be here. They feel safe here. They feel like that they're accomplishing something. They feel like that they're going to get what they need to go out into the world and be a productive citizen. So those are the things that we've kind of focused on. But mainly, again, the emphasize to everybody, you can't change things or you can't make a difference unless you have goals and you understand that what the community needs are. So we focused on that. And when I say community, I mean from a larger scale. I think about rural education. I think about areas of poverty. We feel like that we could replicate this model any place. I mean, big focus on relationships, big focus on knowing each other, understanding, what people's needs are. Very, very, very important, putting kids first, but obviously relationships and community right at the top of the priority list.
So let me just ask you, because you buried the lead, which is when you started, when you started about 5 years ago, what was the graduation rate and what is it now?
We were about 70%, slightly below that. And our graduation rate right now is about 99%. So if you don't graduate at New Lexington High School, it's probably because you've fell off the radar. I mean, there's probably a drone following you around looking for you somewhere, So our high school has been set up intentionally so that if you were enrolled in, the curriculum that we have here in the programming, that you will get what you need through those programs to graduate. So again, with the will and the want of students to graduate, to complete these things that are driven by a spectrum of workforce development, College Credit Plus. There's a lot of that. If students are involved in these types of programming, they will graduate.
That's amazing. And when you say students involved in these kind of programming, that's where I think both Morgan, you and Aaron come in, because it's not magic that this stuff happens. You have to actually make it happen. It's not you build the field and they will come. Yes, sometimes that's true, but you have to build the field and you have to figure out how to use umpty number of strands that are around to create. I mean, last year, 780 students earned 1,551 industry credentials in Southeast Ohio. We're not talking about New York City. We're not talking about the school I taught at, Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn for the health professionals. We're talking about Southeast Ohio. So how did you create all of this?
I would say it's definitely been our team, starting from the vision, kids, community, relationships. Every kid deserves every bit of attention that we can offer them. And so we went, 3 years ago, Aaron, from 154 kids in career tech education, which is mostly our ag department at our high school, to now 7 through 12. We're up to 700 and, like you said, 80 students in career tech education. Just building a model that every student can be successful as they make it through school. So driving that career education early and often. So what are we doing in elementary that drives the middle school, that drives then into the high school? Early and often with our emergent programs, we teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how to weld, how to cook, how to be in theater, how to be in media with Sam, how to do all these fun programs that are pathways at the high school. And then once they get into middle school, they have a period every day that's just our career tech exploration period on top of the career tech program we already have at the middle school where they can sample everything. So that way, by the time they get to high school, they have a great understanding of what they want to do with their future. And then we can build on that and grow that when they get into high school. Aaron?
What I miss. Well, I think if we go back to the graduation rate being at 70%, we knew as a team we had to do something to capture the kids that weren't graduating. We were primarily focused at that time on all kids go to college. And when we looked at our data set, it showed that our kids really weren't going to college. 20% were going, 11% were staying all 4 years and earning a degree. So we were leaving a lot of kids behind. So we had to change our mindset on how do we capture those kids and what do they need to do and what do they want to do so that they can graduate and be successful members of our community. So that's kind of where we started. We started talking to students and seeing what their interests were. And then we started to try and build programming around that. We started really small and it's just continued to grow every year so that we can make sure that we have offerings for all kids, both those that want to go to college and those that would rather enter a career once they leave high school.
And a lot of those pathways, they cross. So kids are earning that college credit, even though they're in a career tech pathway. So like the classes, for instance, that Sam's taking and those web exams he's taking, he gets CTAG credit for that. So he's going to get CCP credit for those classes that he's taking if he chooses to move those on into college. And we have that with all of our pathways now.
I think one thing that needs to be mentioned is the conversation that happens with the employers, with the local unions. Our partnerships with our locals is tremendous. I think the thing that these kids are getting jobs, they're coming out, they're prepared, and they're coming out of high school and they are getting well-paying jobs that are jobs that their parents they're not aware of. It's that whole, wow, you're working there, or I can't believe you're able to do that. We get that all the time. And I think that our Business Advisory Council, the conversation that's continuous between our employers is extremely important because of the return on investment. You know, you've heard me say that, Randy, the Appalachian return on investment. I think that's very, very important to mention is that conversation with businesses. I mean, if the businesses aren't supporting what we are doing, then we have no place for those kids to go.
Right.
I also include the community colleges. I include those folks, those institutions of higher education, because we have to have those relationships there as well so that we can finish these robust programs that we have.
So how, before I get to Sam and then to Dave, how do you create these community, and I would say the employer connections and the partnerships? Because, you know, I'm old enough and been in enough conversations where you can sit education people and business people in the same room and they're talking at each other, not with each other. So how did you go from the at each other to the with each other? You know, wherever, oh, yeah, of course it's important, but then nothing happens. And then there's another meeting to meet and another meeting to meet. So how'd you do it?
We opened the doors up. I mean, there's a barrier. A lot of people don't understand what school looks like. They really don't. They just remember what it was like when they were in school. You know what I mean? And so that's what a familiar picture looks like. We invited our businesses in. We not only invited them to come in and see our high school, but we brought them to our elementaries. We brought them completely across the board so that they could see the full gamut of what we were trying to do. And we showed them, again, emergent kids, 3rd graders, welding. We told them that we were serious about this. And then the flip side of that is that we took our kids to them. So the transparency and the vision of actually seeing what does this look like? I mean, Morgan, you can jump in there. We do this sheet dig event. It's incredible. How many females do we take down to the local?
About 64 females. So yeah, like Casey said, we go to them. So Local 18, Ohio Operating Engineers Local 18 has a she-dig program that they hold every year. This past year, we took 64 high school females down where they got to talk to female apprentices within the operators union and work and learn to drive heavy equipment just as they do. So the female operators took them in, talked about all the benefits of becoming a union employee through the Ohio Operating Engineers, told them all about the benefits and what the further education that they could receive, and then took them out into the yard and let them operate excavators, dozers, backhoes, cranes, pretty much anything that your girls wanted to do, they could. And it's so amazing to see the confidence change in these young ladies. So they start with, I don't want to touch it. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt something, to really getting in there and getting after it. So it's a lot of fun. Erin got to go with me a couple years ago. She got to operate.
Okay, before I get to Sam, what is the favorite machine that somebody likes to operate?
Usually the backhoe.
The backhoe?
Usually, yeah. Because it's got a bucket on the front and a bucket on the back.
Okay, Casey, the next time I'm there, I want to learn how to operate a backhoe.
Okay. Well, we're going to make it happen. We've got a bionic arm that you can use too. And you
wow.
We've seen you. You've been in the barn, so you're right in there with the animals and all that.
Yeah,
so
love the animals.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we'll have you drive the combine when they're harvesting the.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
The popcorn that we sell on the concession stand, right?
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
We could have you do backhoe rodeo with our ag kids too. They do backhoe rodeo.
Now we're getting well past probably any expertise I could ever get. But I love even having this conversation. And so, Sam, I see that you are like very media tech savvy. But tell my listeners, tell the teachers in America about your school experience and what you like about it and how you've made like the school like stardom because of all the work that you've done in terms of media.
I don't know about stardom, but I appreciate it. So New Lexington has been a great place for my education. I can't think of a better place to be, especially how they prepare us for our futures. Like, I'm currently in the college application process and it's stressful, but I have so many things that I've completed, so many things that I have that have me prepared for that kind of future. Like you mentioned, I'm in New Media Plus. I'm going to be drone certified by the end of the year. And I also am involved in our community college and I'm going to graduate with an associate's in music. So going into freshman year, Mr. Thorngate, our principal, asked me like what I wanted to do. And I thought that's a lot of pressure to put on a freshman. Like, what do they want to do after high school? And I thought, well, I want to go to college for music. And ever since that day, I have been taking steps through the programs that New Lexington has to prepare me every step of the way. And when I look back, I can't think of anything else that I would have rather happened. Like, I feel the most prepared for my future that I think I could feel.
That's amazing. But can I ask you, so you want to go for music and you're going to graduate with a associate's degree in terms of music. What aspects of music that really call you? What do you love about music?
I love the songwriting part of music.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's the part of music where I feel like I can connect with a lot of other people, and the emotions and the storytelling in songwriting is truly something like no other. And I think that's what I want to do with my future. Yeah.
That's amazing. And Dad, how are you with all of this?
Yeah, well,
I love having a father-son relationship here on a podcast. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about it. You know, his mother and I, we've had the privilege of getting to follow Sam around to all of his music gigs. He plays at a lot of different venues and, you know, plays a lot of different instruments, guitar and piano. He has ensembles. He'll play at a concert hall or amphitheater, and he's usually booked up about every weekend that we can. He's also a basketball player, so we have to navigate around his extracurriculars there. And he's also been the lead in many drama productions. So he's highly involved with theater at our school. And
Wait, Dave, let me just ask, Sam, do you ever
yeah.
sleep?
I try, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Dave.
No, yeah, he's highly involved. He does wear us out, taking us everywhere for everything. But I'm really good with where he's wanting to go with this, because I think that our school district has provided not only just the basic needs that we've really strived for behind the scenes, which is, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner programs that we run to make sure that kids are fed. I mean, we're in a high poverty area, so that's something that we've always tried to focus on. Literacy, early literacy has been a huge driving force for us. And I think what it's provided with Sam, I mean, for him to have the opportunity to write news articles for different websites and for our local newspaper, as well as being involved with announcing live football games that his friends were getting a chance to play in. And we had a really good year this year, went deep into the playoffs. So that was a lot of fun and experience. These were some of the first times that they were happening. And just to see the execution that he's done with those articles, I mean, he's writing papers better now than I could ever dream of, even at 46 years old, let alone, back when I was in college. So his advancement with the literacy aspect of what we focused on, he's kind of taken it to a different level with the opportunities that we have in place. His media presence of social media, YouTube videos and so forth has really taken that to another level. And I think a lot of that experience has come from the classes that he's taken. He was involved in FFA early. We've got so many programs. We try to do them all, but it's really tough. So he made the decision that I really want to be a part of this media program. I really want to be part of the drones. And so he jumped on that ship and sailed off with it. So I'm excited about him taking an opportunity to wanting to go to school in Nashville, and New Lexington School District in Appalachia, right in the middle of Perry County, has prepared him more than ever to be able to go do that. Now, mom wanting him to go 7 hours away is probably a different story, but we're really excited about it. And he knows what he wants to do. He's going to take what he's learned here and the opportunities that he's had. And that's one of the things that we do at New Lex is we want to prepare everybody to sky's the limit. If you want to go into be an electrician, if you want to go to college, but you want to still be a phlebotomist or have some of the nursing background with CNA, we're going to provide all those opportunities. And they all started with a dream 12 years ago when Casey walked on campus and said, we're missing a lot of targets here. We're focusing way too much on testing, and we're doing this blanketed education that everybody's supposed to fit this one mold. And we're about to take the lid off here at New Lexington. We're going to be different. We're going to focus on people's needs. We're going to propel kids to the next level. And it only took a decade, Casey. I told you it'd take about 3 or 4 years. It only took a little over a decade, but it's finally showcased. And then Sam just happens to be not only my son, but a product of what's happened here, because there's many more like him. Yeah. There's a ton of them that have already graduated that are doing big things. There's a lot of them that are coming up in younger grades that, get ready. We're seeing it in every aspect in our school district from the success that we're having. And we can only think it's just because we've got a great team. People are striving to be the best. We are extremely competitive. We're competitive with ourselves. Yeah. But I think that keeps the driving force going. So
that I see a lot. But I want to ask all of you, because you've all kind of painted an amazing picture of what the dynamics and what we see anytime we visit. I want to make sure that in the last few minutes, what do you want the world to know that we haven't told them about the amazing things happen in New Lexington? I think you've talked about this kind of kids, communities, relationships, literacy, meals, really that kind of commitment to each other and to the community, seeing opportunities and running with them and going against the grade when everybody else wanted to do testing, you understanding that is not how you help a kid soar, and look at the amazing work that kids achieve right now without the fixation being testing. But that's the stuff that I've heard today again and what I've seen. But what else? What are we missing here in these last final moments that we want the world to know about New Lexington? And I won't call on anybody, but I will start with Casey.
Sure. I'm going to say, be unselfish and think of kids and kids first. As teachers, as a longtime classroom teacher, I was always extremely frustrated when folks would say, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. Or we've only got 48 minutes and the bell's going to ring. And we got 3 minutes in between the period to do this. No, we have to be driven for kids. It's just like with Sam, using Sam as an example. I'm so proud that Sam is a product. I'm sitting here thinking, my goodness, Sam's going to go to college for music. He has an associate's degree right now, and he's got a drone credential. Goodness, I want listeners out there to know that it is a tragedy if we don't have kids reach their full potential. If we let kids just go through the motions and take the test, and we rely on what we think they might be able to do, it's a tragedy. And I think that what New Lex has done is they have paid attention to those details. They've been unselfish. They've focused on relationships, put relationships with kids first in regards to understanding and profiling what their exact needs are. I think if there's a secret sauce out there, it is getting in the trench. It is recognizing what students need. You're listening. Sometimes I had one of my mentors told me one time, he said, Casey, you have to listen when you talk. And I think that our folks at New Lex do a wonderful job listening and hearing the needs of kids and the community. So, that's part of it. I'm just proud of all of them. We've had our valedictorian a couple of years ago. She had a D11 welding credential, and she's in pre-med at the Ohio State University, probably going to be a doctor. It's tremendous. I mean, those are real stories right here in Southeastern Ohio, Appalachia. I would invite anybody to contact us and come and sit and talk to our kids, talk to our teachers. We'd love to build capacity. That's what this is all about, is helping other educators expand and spread the word that these things can be done and kids can achieve anything that they want to if we give them the opportunity.
That is so great. Anybody else want to add, or you want to let Casey be the last word?
Randy, I will add one thing that you probably have listeners that are thinking, wow, that's a lot that they're doing. There's no way we could step into that. My take would be we had that same thought when we got here 12 years ago. So what we did is we started small. And the starting point for us was to start with relationships with our staff. There were a lot of broken relationships. We were able to mend that. We were able to develop that. Then we went into our community. And in the same line with that, we were focusing on students' basic needs. We wrote grants to get our free breakfast and free lunch and ultimately the free dinner that we started with. So now we had capacity built around the schedules that we were going to do. And then we already had a robust program started. Many schools have a program. They may just not be pushing it to the next level. But then we started to build the smaller programs off of that. And they would start with maybe 3 kids in the program, 5 kids. And what happened is through the businesses and through our kids, they started to tell us that's how drones came about. Nobody had drones on their mind 12 years ago. Drones came about because of that. It was through FFA. We were using them to fly over to view our crops. So what'll happen is programs will totally spur off of the small ones that you have. And you probably have a lot of educators that already do some of these things. Like the math teacher probably already has a drone license and nobody in the district knows it for whatever reason. Those things, when we went to our people and said, hey, would you like to teach a couple classes of this? They were on fire for it. People do want to try something new or do something different. Yeah. So that's kind of how that's happened is we started small. We started with basic needs, building relationships. And then over a 10-year period, you're going to look back and it's going to be vastly different in your school district.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I would say to close things out, I think one thing that I know we've done really well these last few years is letting our students know that they're loved and they're heard, and that we see them and that we know what their potential is and exposing them to those things that they want to see within their own community. So making those connections with those businesses that are close, providing opportunities for them to go. Sam's raising his hand.
Good student.
Well, I wanted to add to that because I definitely agree that freshman year, if I had told I did tell a bunch of teachers that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Nashville, go to college for music. They all looked at me and said, yeah, go get it. And we'll be with you every step of the way. And I think that a teacher or administrator, you have to let that kid know that that's possible.
Yeah.
Because had I not known if that was possible or not, I don't know if I would be reaching for such a far dream. I don't know what I'd be doing.
That's the secret sauce of teaching.
Mm-hmm. I had Sam kind of fourth grader.
Yeah, you go, Morgan.
I had Sam as a fourth grader, and I got the pleasure of watching Sam in fourth grade in the talent show at Junction City Elementary. And I think that was the first time I was in church that Sam is like sang out in front of all of his peers. So I got to see that, and then him grow now through high school and perform. And I'm one of the groupies, the Sam Root Music groupies. And I love to watch Sam perform now, and I'm going to love seeing him in Nashville. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have built that rapport with Sam and hope that our district instilled in him to pursue his dreams because he's going to be incredible.
I love that. Okay, Erin, you get the last word as I close up.
I would just say, don't let no be an option. No isn't an option here. We just have to figure it out and figure out what barriers we need to cross in order to make things happen for our kids. It may not be to the full skill that we want right away, but there are steps that can be taken to work through those barriers and make things happen for the best of our kids and for the community. So again, it goes back to everything they've said, listening to the students, making sure that we're getting a good feel for what they're interested in, and then building that out the best that we can. So no is not an option.
Fantastic. So no is not an option. Make sure, let's create ways that dreams become possibilities and then probabilities. And we do this by really focusing on kids and not being selfish about it, and communities and relationships, and really opening the doors and making sure that businesses are in schools, and where in those businesses, I'm still going to do that backhoe thing. And, and that we do this and we have a supportive board that's going to give us the time to do this work and not expect that it's going to happen in a minute. Thank you, Dave. Hat tip to you.
Yeah.
And that we keep on building and layering and closing with, look, Sam, I just want to be invited to your concert when you do Carnegie Hall, okay? Or Madison Square Garden, or any of the big vistas in Nashville. And I just want to say to all of you, yeah, we do this for all kids. And we're so bursting with so much pride for you, Sam, and for you seeing what is possible in the world for you and for so many other young people. That's why we do what we do. And so to all of you, to Sam, to Sam's dad, Dave, to Morgan, to Erin, to Casey, and to everybody in New Lex, God bless you for everything that you do. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And it's just an honor to be able to be on this journey with all of you. And for everyone else, this is our final episode of Union Talk for 2025. And I wish everyone a great holiday, a safe holiday, a holiday that brings light through any of this darkness. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Union Talk. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and tune in every other week for a new episode. Thank you, be safe, and be well.